What if the Earth suddenly stopped spinning? Have you ever wondered what would happen if, right now, at this exact moment, the Earth suddenly stopped spinning? Not tomorrow. Not a million years from now. Right now. At first, you might think nothing would happen. After all, we don't actually feel the Earth spinning beneath our feet. Every morning looks normal. Cars drive by. Birds fly across the sky. People go to work. Life seems perfectly still. But that's an illusion. The truth is, every person on Earth is moving at incredible speed without even noticing it. If you were standing near the equator, you would be traveling at nearly 1,000 miles per hour simply because the Earth is rotating. We don't feel this motion because everything around us, the air, the oceans, buildings, trees, and even the atmosphere, is moving at exactly the same speed. Now imagine that, in a single instant, the Earth stops spinning. What happens next would become the greatest disaster in the history of our planet. The ground beneath your feet would stop immediately. You wouldn't, neither would your house. Neither would your car. Everything not firmly anchored to the Earth's crust would continue moving eastward at tremendous speed because of inertia. Within a fraction of a second, people, vehicles, airplanes, trains, and even loose objects would be hurled across the landscape. Imagine standing in the middle of a city. Without warning, every car becomes a high-speed projectile. Glass explodes from skyscrapers. Power lines snap. Bridges collapse. Buildings begin to tear apart. The sound would be deafening. The sky would fill with dust, smoke, concrete, metal, and debris. For millions of people, there would be no time to react. But this is only the beginning. The atmosphere wouldn't stop spinning immediately. It would continue racing around the Earth at enormous speed. That difference between the moving air and the stationary ground would create winds unlike anything humanity has ever experienced. Not 100 miles per hour. Not 300. Some winds could exceed 1,000 miles per hour. Entire forests would be ripped from the ground. Steel towers would bend. Homes would disappear in seconds. Even mountains would experience massive landslides. Flying outside would become impossible. Breathing outside would become almost impossible. Everywhere you looked, the world would be transformed into chaos. Then the oceans would strike. The water covering our planet carries enormous momentum. Even if the Earth stopped, the oceans would continue moving. Gigantic walls of water would rush across continents. Tsunamis hundreds of feet high would destroy coastal cities within minutes. Countries with long coastlines would suffer unimaginable devastation. Ships would be thrown onto land. Entire islands could disappear beneath massive waves. Millions more lives would be lost. And even after the winds finally slowed, and after the oceans settled, the nightmare would be far from over. Because the Earth itself would slowly begin changing shape. What happens next could change the planet forever. Although the initial destruction would be catastrophic, an even greater challenge would slowly unfold over the following weeks and months. Most people don't realize that Earth's rotation is responsible for more than just day and night. It also affects the shape of our planet. Because Earth spins, it bulges slightly around the equator. If the rotation suddenly stopped, gravity would gradually pull the planet into a more perfect sphere. That small change would completely reshape our world. The oceans would begin moving toward the poles, flooding some regions while exposing vast new land near the equator. Entire coastlines would disappear. Some of the world's biggest cities would no longer exist. Maps that humanity had used for centuries would become meaningless. But perhaps the most terrifying change would be the loss of our normal day and night cycle. Today, one full rotation creates a 24-hour day. Without that rotation, one side of Earth would face the sun for an incredibly long time, while the other side remained trapped in darkness. The sunlit side would become unbearably hot. Rivers would dry up. Forests would burn. Many crops would fail. Water would become one of the most valuable resources on Earth. Meanwhile, the dark side would freeze. Temperatures would fall far below freezing. Snow and ice would continue expanding. Entire regions would become uninhabitable. Animals would struggle to survive. Many species would disappear forever. Food chains would collapse. Human civilization would face the greatest survival challenge in history. Governments would try to organize emergency shelters. Scientists would search for new technologies to keep people alive. Underground cities might become humanity's safest refuge. Power generation would become a constant battle. Growing food would require artificial light and carefully controlled environments. Only a narrow region between the burning daylight and the frozen darkness might remain suitable for long-term survival. Even there, life would be extremely difficult. People would have to cooperate like never before. Every drop of water, every source of food, every safe shelter would matter. Fortunately, there is good news. This terrifying scenario is almost impossible. Earth's rotation naturally changes only by tiny fractions over extremely long periods of time. Even the largest earthquakes only shorten or lengthen a day by tiny fractions of a second. There is no known natural event capable of bringing our planet to a sudden stop. So every peaceful sunrise, every beautiful sunset, and every ordinary 24-hour day is actually a reminder of how perfectly balanced our planet really is. Sometimes, the most extraordinary miracle isn't something happening in the sky. It's the fact that the Earth has been quietly spinning beneath our feet for billions of years, allowing every forest, every ocean, every animal, and every human being to exist. The next time you look up at the sky, remember this. The world feels calm not because nothing is happening, but because our planet is performing one of the greatest balancing acts in the universe every single second. If you enjoyed this journey into one of science's most fascinating what-if questions, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next adventure. And now, but what if humanity somehow survived the first terrifying days? What would life actually look like on a motionless Earth? The answer is both fascinating and frightening. Scientists believe that survivors would have to leave behind the cities they once called home. Entire nations would be forced to migrate in search of a place where temperatures were neither too hot nor too cold. This narrow region, often called the Twilight Zone, would become humanity's last hope for survival. Life there would still be incredibly difficult. Food would become the world's most valuable resource. Traditional farming would no longer work as it does today. Instead, enormous indoor farms powered by artificial lights and advanced technology would produce food for the remaining population. Every harvest would be carefully controlled, and every seed would matter. Clean water would become equally precious. Massive recycling systems and desalination plants would be essential. Nothing could be wasted. Wildlife would face an even greater struggle. Many animals rely on the daily cycle of sunlight to hunt, sleep, migrate, and reproduce. Without normal days and nights, entire ecosystems would collapse. Some species might adapt over time, but countless others would disappear forever. The night sky would also become completely different. On the permanently dark side of Earth, people would see billions of stars every single day. The Milky Way would stretch across the sky in breathtaking detail, creating one of the most beautiful and loneliest views imaginable. Meanwhile, people living under endless daylight might never see the stars again. Even our understanding of time would change forever. For thousands of years, humanity has measured time using the rising and setting of the sun. On a motionless Earth, that natural rhythm would disappear. People would depend entirely on clocks, technology, and artificial schedules to organize daily life. This incredible thought experiment reminds us how perfectly balanced our planet truly is. The Earth never asks for our attention. It simply keeps spinning. Second after second, day after day, year after year, creating the perfect conditions for life to exist. The next time you watch a sunrise or enjoy a peaceful evening, remember this. The world feels calm not because nothing is happening. It feels calm because our planet has been spinning with incredible precision for billions of years, creating the perfect conditions for life to exist. Sometimes, the greatest miracles aren't the things we can see. They are the invisible forces that quietly protect us every single day. If you enjoyed this fascinating journey into one of science's most incredible what-if scenarios, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next adventure. And now, tell us in the comments, what impossible question should we explore next? Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.